Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well and I hope that you have a magnificent day. I am here to do an intuitive card reading to see what guidance, insights, and messages the universe wants to share with us at this time, especially when it comes to lightening up, letting go, releasing, purging, not holding on so tightly, keeping an open mind, and not settling for less or making compromises when it comes to your core values, your top priorities, what's most important to you. So let's take a look at the cards and see what the universe wants to share with us. We have Magenta. Connect to your deepest inner knowing. And this is feeling like the universe wants you to connect with who you truly are, to get crystal clear on what it is you want, what it is you stand for, what lights you up inside, what are the lines that you will not tolerate being crossed, that kind of thing, having those healthy boundaries, because a lot of people, I feel like, just go through motions and are kind of going on autopilot in life. And then they don't understand how their life isn't shaping it up to be what they want, but they're not in alignment, they're not doing what resonates, they're not connecting to people, places, and things that are in alignment with them, that resonate with what it is they want. And so the universe is saying, hey, go inward, reflect, have introspection, have self-awareness, know who it is you are, so that you can make choices that are in alignment with who that person is. For instance, like if you value someone who is going to be like a life partner, for instance, but you're settling for less because you don't want to be alone, or you're just like making compromises and excuses and justifications for why your potential partner is, dropping the ball repeatedly. For instance, I don't know all the ins and out of my sister's relationship with her boyfriend. I barely see him. I don't know him. I'm just going to let you know that basically every single thing that I hear from my sister about him is negative. I can remember only one time she said anything even relatively nice or good about him, and it was that he went and got her a surprise pretzel crust pizza from Little Caesars because he knew she loved it so much. Every other time I've heard her talk about him, it's just negative, negative, negative. And like he refuses to drive, so she has to drive him everywhere. He's not wanting to work, he's leaving work early, like he just wants to play video games, and like he leaves mountains of trash everywhere. I've been into their house. My sister bought the house, mind you. He moved in and hadn't had a job for a long time. That's a whole thing, but there was basically no free space, no clear space, like no surfaces. Even the stove was piled up with stuff. And so she'll complain about how he'll say he'll do things, but then he doesn't do them, and all these things. And like the latest thing was she was going on and on and on about how apparently at his job, his insurance went up. So he's going to her, he's like, hey, can I just pay you less for the bills because my insurance went up? And she's like, no, the bills didn't go down. And it's like, my sister was the one who bought the house. She let him live there. Like, he just seems very unmotivated. And mind you, I know we all are humans. We all have our ups and downs. We all have our human journeys. I'm not trying to, judge him. But just from the optics and everything I'm hearing and the little things that I'm witnessing, it's just like, are you sure that you want to be with him? Is this actually going to make your life easier and something you enjoy? Because honestly, you're just complaining a lot. And honestly, I'm seeing a whole lot of parallels with my mom. My mom is a very controlling person. She's the one who brings in the most money. She's the one who handles everything. My dad will say he'll do some things, but then he'll just like go and play video games or watch TV or watch movies, whatever. And like there have been plenty of times where he just completely forgets stuff. Mind you, he doesn't leave early from work, so I'll give him credit for that. And like he will sometimes do stuff like barbecue to make dinner so my mom doesn't have to. But overall, it's just like my mom is like having to do everything and then she just constantly complaining about her life. So I'm like, I'm seeing so many parallels. And I don't like, I'm imagining there has to be something there for, you know, my mom to pick my dad and my sister to pick her boyfriend. But I'm just like, if all you're going to do is complain. And I remember this one time at my 2-year-old cousin's birthday party, mind you, my mom refused to say anything nice about my dad if he could overhear it. Like, this is the kind of things that I'm dealing with. And so I'm just like, are you guys sure that you want to be together? I'm not judging. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't, but it's like your deepest, truest self in authenticity. Like, is this what you want? Is it? Because it's just like, it doesn't seem like it from everything I'm witnessing and I'm hearing. And if you're just gonna constantly complain, it's just like, what do they bring to the table? They're a body and you're not alone? Is that what it is? And I don't know. It's just, we gotta have our standards. We gotta have our non-negotiables. Not that we shouldn't give grace. Not that, you know, people are perfect and will never make mistakes. But you gotta have some kind of bar. And it's just like, if you're gonna be unhappy with something, you shouldn't settle for less and make those compromises. You shouldn't make excuses and justifications, you know? You know? And I know everyone can learn, grow, and improve. Anyone and everyone can, but it's a choice. And I'm just like, from my experience on this planet and all my observations of all these different peoples and all the different interactions, and some people it's been like long-term case study, like observations of just like family, for instance, but it's just like people don't want to change. They just keep doing the same cycles and habits and patterns over and over and over and over again, and then they complain about it and they whine, and it's just like, why do you keep choosing the same things and expecting to get different results? That's not how it works. You got to do something different. And so this is why the universe is wanting us to connect with our deepest inner knowing. It's like, know yourself. Know what you're willing to accept. Know what you're willing to, you know, be flexible on, and know what's your non-negotiable. Know where that hard line in the sand is, and you're just like, no, not budging past this point on this thing. Because there will be people who match what it is you want, but if you are not clear on that, if you're not, you know, upfront and honest about that, if you're just making, you know, excuses and justifications and compromises and all that just because you don't want to be alone, I feel like that's why there's so much chaos and unnecessary drama in life, because like people, like, they're living unconsciously and they don't know who they are. They're not making intentional, purposeful, selective, mindful, aligned choices. They're just kind of going about life haphazardly, maybe? I don't know. It's just interesting to witness, and then like they complain it to you and like act like it's your fault kind of thing. Like, it's interesting, you know? Mob. Enjoy clear hearing. This is why the universe wants you to connect with your deepest inner knowing, to know who you truly are, so you can hear yourself clearly, your heart and soul. Also, when you're in alignment and you're connected to your true self, you're also more connected to the universe, the divine, and you can get those divine insights, those divine messages, the divine guidance a whole lot easier. You can have that clear hearing. And then if you also know where you stand and you're willing to communicate that, be upfront and honest and, you know, real about it. Not that you're disrespectful, not that you're like trying to like push people and be like, you need to conform to this, otherwise we're going to have a problem. That's not what I'm saying, but it's like, if you're open, honest, and be like, hey, these are my non-negotiables. These are my top priorities. These are my core values that I will not budge on. Can we make this work? Can we co-create together? Will we be on the same page? We don't have to agree on everything. But, like, on the main things, are you, like, on the same page, you know? Do you have the clear hearing to hear other people on what their non-negotiables are? Because if their non-negotiables don't fit you, and, you know, like, if it's, you know, vice versa for both ways, like, you probably shouldn't be trying to have this relationship work. Not that you can't have, like, casual friends, acquaintances kind of relationships. Not that you can't wish them well and, like, see them ever, but, like, for those deep relationships where it's like a life partner, or, you know, the deep friendships, like, for those, you probably want to have those that are, you know, in alignment with you, that are on your same kind of frequency, that resonate with you, that vibe with you, you know? But so many people, I feel like, just don't want to be alone. Like, I look at my siblings, for instance, and they just seem to always just to want to have friends, just to have friends so they wouldn't be alone. And, like, none of the friendships, well, not none of them, but a lot of them were just very superficial and, like, insincere, and they wouldn't know people's names, and there'd be backstabbing and betrayal and gossip and rumors and slander, like, all these things. I'm like, why do you want to be popular? Why do you want all these quote-unquote friends who aren't actually friends? Like, they don't even seem to know what actual friendship is. Like, why are you chasing that, you know? Yellow, purify your body. Yeah. That's another thing. Sometimes to have, you know, the clear hearing is knowing how to listen to your body and what you need to stop consuming. It makes me think about one of my former friends. She knew that she had become lactose intolerant, and she kept pursuing all of this dairy products. I know that I brought up the Little Caesars pretzel pizza before, and that's what my sister's boyfriend got her, but we had gotten that one day. And this pretzel pizza, it has a cheese sauce instead of, you know, the regular pizza sauce, and it was just oozing so much cheese on top of it, on top of the cheese sauce. And my former friend, she's like, ooh, I just love it. And she's, like, taking one bite, and I can already hear her stomach, like, growling and rumbling and, like, very upset. And she's just, like, continuing to eat. And she's like, I'm gonna go get more pizza. I'm like, are you sure you want to do it? Yeah. And I'm like, it doesn't sound like your body agrees with that. And she's like, no, it'll be fine. And then later she told me about how she was on the toilet for days. And it's just like, we need to listen to our bodies. We may not always like what our bodies say. You know, there have been times where I wanted to be more productive, but my body's like, hey, I need more rest. Hey, I need to do things slow. Hey, I need things off my plate. I need to sleep. I need to take it easy. I need to just take care of myself. And so we need to listen to our bodies, to our feelings, so we can process them and give them space so we're not running away from them. I've seen so many people running away from their feelings right now, and the truth is this situation. But we also can do things to purify our body, as in terms of journaling, meditation. You know, it could be therapy. It could be doing cleanses, potential fasting. You know, make sure you talk to a doctor or anything before you do anything too crazy. Because I was watching, I think, a random podcast type of show, video thing, and they're talking about this one wrestler had been talking to Joe Rogan, and someone's doing commentary about that episode, but he brought up how he ended up going on like a 3 or 4 day fast with like no food right before a fight, and he's like, yeah, that wasn't a good idea. So you want to be careful, because yes, fasting can be helpful. It can very much help purify your body. I ended up gravitating towards intermittent fasting before I even knew that was a thing back in like 2019, 2020, and I've been doing it ever since, just because my body didn't want food then. So I'm like, okay, I'll listen to you. I didn't know there was a term for that. I think intermittent fasting is like the 16-8, like there's 16 hours where you don't eat and 8 where you do. some days I have it less, some days like the window is a little bit smaller. Like, it just depends. I try to listen to my body, but could also be doing things like working with crystals or, Palo Santo, sage, sound baths, going into water. Like, there's so many different ways to purify your body, but it just feels like there's a lot of purging going on, whether it be with our physical body, with our spirit, with our emotions, with our mind, the physical world, the spiritual world, all of that. It just feels like we are learning to let go and release of what does not align, what does not resonate, what is holding us back or potentially harming us, like what's not serving us anymore. And we're doing better for ourselves, We have angel aura quartz, lighten up, that's a thing. The universe has been asking us to lighten up, whether that be in terms of purifying our body and lightening up that way, maybe lightening up in terms of healthier foods. I know, when was that? Back in like 2011? I just stopped drinking soda completely, and gradually, like, all I just have come to is drink water. Like, that's what my body has been asking me to do, so that's what I've been doing for years now. It's just straight up water, and people look at me like I'm crazy. They also look at me like I'm crazy because I've never drank alcohol, except for my dad tricked me when I was in first grade. He had some kind of alcohol apple drink, and I saw the apple on the label and thought he was drinking apple juice, and I really liked apple juice as a kid, so I was like, oh, can I try something? He's like, yeah, go ahead, and it was disgusting. And then also in second grade with the first communion, that wine was disgusting, and that paired with all of the chaotic, intense, like, craziness that is my family and their alcoholism and all that, I just have never aligned with it. And so that people look at me like I'm crazy. They're like, oh, come on, just have a drink. And I was like, no. Like, literally, my family tried to drag me out on my 21st birthday to go out drinking alcohol. I'm like, no. And they'd be like, oh, well, they got some fun names like Purple Pirate. I'm like, I don't care. And they'd be like, oh, well, they have stuff like cupcake and Fruit Loops and Cinnamon Toast Crunch. They have some great flavors. I'm like, okay, well, if that's what I wanted, like cupcake or toasted marshmallow or whatever the heck they're trying to, get me to do, it's like, why wouldn't I just get the real thing? Why do I need to get it alcohol? And they just like kept trying and trying and trying. And so it's just like, for a lot of people, they're lightening up and letting go of old coping mechanisms, whether that be alcohol and drugs. There's the lightening up in terms of letting go of physical things. Like, I have been letting go of some of my clothing and doing a little bit of cleaning up with that. Ended up getting a new bed because it was the same one I had since I was a kid. And, like, I've just been lightening up and letting go of the old, letting go of old energies, letting go of relationships that aren't serving me. Not that I'm opposed to opening the door if people are putting in the effort and they're trying to genuinely make a change, but it's like, if you're just going to keep making the same choices and harming me alongside yourself, I'm not really interested. Like, if you're not going to help lift me up and you're just going to keep throwing mud and, like, trying to poison me with your words and your deeds, then I'm not interested. I want the mutually beneficial relationships. Not that I expect perfection, but so it's like, there's been so much purging going on for a lot of people from what I've heard. And also just like what we focus on, lightening up in terms of letting go of negative narratives, limiting beliefs, judging yourself harshly for having feelings and being human, like just lightening up on so many things. And it, like, sometimes when you lighten up and you make space for yourself to be human, like what happened with me the other day, like, it can be heavy temporarily, but, like, afterwards you feel so much more lighter, because if you ignored it, if you sidestepped it, if you swept it under the rug, pretend like it wasn't there, bottled it up and tried to bury it and all that, like, it's still there and it's still weighing you down. You're, like, dragging this emotional baggage with you, this dead weight, and so the universe is asking us to lighten up on all that. It can be easier said than done. And it doesn't have to be all done at once. Clear quartz, get crystal clear, yeah. Get crystal clear on what you want. Get crystal clear on what it is you stand for. Get crystal clear on who you are and what's most important to you. What are your core values? What are your priorities? What are your non-negotiables? Because society overall tries to talk us out of them. I've had like family members, I've had supposed friends, I've had exes, I've had toxic bosses and coworkers, I've had teachers, peers, all these people like try to convince me to not stand my ground and have those non-negotiables, to have my standards, to like gaslight me and invalidate me on when I try to bring something up. And me personally, I'm a peaceful person. I'm not looking to cause drama or conflict or hurt or anything like that. And so I'll just like, I can be matter-of-factly, but I'm like, no. And then they like try to push and be like, no, Cave, you don't actually mean that. You're being crazy. You're a psycho. And it's like, no. And so get crystal clear on what you're choosing to associate with, where your time, energy, and attention goes, and that kind of thing, because it all adds up. You know, if you're surrounding yourself by the wrong people, places, and things, they can be such time and energy drains. Like, you won't have time and energy to do the things that are most important to you, that light you up, to help you make that dream life, you know, to help you thrive. You just suck it all up like a sponge and refuse to give it back. There's some major energy vampires out there. I'll tell you, I've encountered so many of them. Phantom quartz. Interesting how we've had a lot of quartz. Embrace change. Yeah, change can be hard. It can be unsettling. It can be disheartening. It can be disappointing. It can also be exciting. And it can also invigorate you and, you know, help you thrive and get you to where you need to go. Like, it can be hard, especially if someone's been in your life a long time, like with the drama that happened with my 2 aunts after my grandma's funeral. Like, I thought we were on good terms. I thought that they actually liked me and all these things, but it's just like, with all the dark, nasty, spiteful, vicious, negative, this like slurs and slander and all that they were throwing, and they're just screaming and going on and on and on about it. It's like, now it just feels like you secretly hated me this whole time and you couldn't stand me. And so it's like, that was like an interesting change. And like, I'm still open to trying to patch things up if they ever tried to make amends and apologize and all that, but they still haven't, and that was 2 years ago, so you know. And then there's the whole thing with the toxic group and the narcissist. That was a whole big explosive slander smear campaign that they started. Again, I'm not holding anything against them. And then there's also my former friend that I thought was a best friend and soul sister, and beginning of this year that turned into a whole explosion. And it's like, when these people that you thought were like key players in your life, and they could be like those rocks that could help ground you and like would be there long term, you know, they're in it to help you and like go through life with you, when they just like that, it's like, well, I can try to fight and resist it, or I can embrace this change and let go of what isn't in alignment, what is not resonating, what is actually being really toxic and draining right now. And I'm open to, you know, what the future may hold. We may reconnect. We may, you know, make amends and patch things up. But right now it's just like, okay, this is where we're at. And I'm letting people make the choices they're making. I'm letting them choose, have the free will to do what they do. But it's like, you do you, but that doesn't mean I have to be here for it. I'm going to embrace the change and stick with my standards, my priorities, my core values, you know, my non-negotiables. It's like, I'm not going to tolerate this disrespect and nastiness. I'm not one for drama. I never have been. And so change can be hard when you would talk to this person pretty regularly for years, for most of your life, and then all of a sudden, no more. And it's like, okay, Okay. Or people you thought you were going to build a future and a life with, just, it's hard, but if you cling on to the past and what once was and what you thought was going to be, the potential of it, you're not making space for the new, for what is actually in alignment for you, what actually resonates, what actually will help lift you up, what actually meets your standards, your priorities, your core values, your non-negotiables, what actually is the better fit. It's hard, guys. It's hard being a human, but we can do it. Citrine, bringing the light. Yeah. As Uncle Iroh says, if you look for the light, you can often find it, but if you look for the dark, that's all you ever see. And for instance, with what's been going on in my life and how I've been letting go and releasing a lot of relationships and of all sorts of types, it's freed up time and energy for me to pursue other things. Because some of those people took up a lot of time and energy. And I think part of that's just because I'm a natural giver and carer and nurturer and supporter and cheerleader and uplifter and teacher and all these things and listener. So it's I want to be there for other people. But I think part of that is also my mentality of you treat other people the way you want to be treated. And then it just has not been reciprocated with those people. So it's okay, I'm going to bring in the light. What silver lining or bright side could I see from this? What could I be grateful for? Okay, I'm seeing the truth of the matter. I'm seeing their true colors. I can make choices accordingly and, free up time, space, and energy for the right types of people, places, and things. And that's great. I'm not being drained by them right now. I'm not getting ensnared in their drama because I've walked away from it, And it's some of these storms are very turbulent and dark and long, but they will pass. They will pass. The sun will shine again. The night won't last forever. Even if you're having those intense dark night of the soul, it's going to pass. So don't think your life is over. My brother the other day had called my mom. He couldn't find his keys, and he was going on about how all of life was now pointless and hopeless, and that he just there was no point of him living anymore. And it's whoa, now calm down. He seems to be doing better now, but don't let the things that you need to let go, or the storms in life, the bumps in the road, make you lose hope and lose faith and just get so disheartened that you just give up, because there is light out there. There is light. It may not be the easiest to find, because society overall feels pretty dark right now, but I know there are other souls of light out there. They'll find you if you make space for it. The boy bravery. The universe wants you to have the bravery, the courage to choose yourself, to stand your ground, to not compromise and make excuses and let people cross your boundaries, to, disrespect and disregard your non-negotiables, your core values, your priorities. Speak up. The universe wants you, even though fear can be false evidence appearing real and feel so real and smothering and suffocating, have the bravery to show up as your true self, to make decisions that are in alignment and that resonate with you, to not settle for mediocrity, because the universe knows you deserve better and wants you to have that. But if we are making decisions from a place of insecurity, doubt, fear, paranoia, worry, all of that, all those negative narratives and limiting beliefs, we're not going to live to our full potential. We're not going to make a life of choices that are in alignment, that truly resonate with us. Because I know I've heard and witnessed people just getting together with somebody else just because they didn't want to be alone, and they're I don't actually like this person, They actually really annoy me. I just don't want to be alone. And it's like, have the bravery to be alone, to sit with yourself, to do things that are in alignment, to not make those choices of compromise and just like string other people along and just be together just to like not be alone. Like, we need to do better. We owe it to ourselves. We have the courage inside of us. We have the strength, the elk strength. Like, we have the inner strength to go the distance. Who we truly are, our true colors, will illuminate the path forward. Like in this card, the woods is all dark and mysterious and foggy. Like you can't see the clear path forward, but your strength, your true colors, your authenticity, your priorities, your core values, your non-negotiables, your boundaries, like that's going to be your way forward. It's going to make the path clear. You may not have all the answers, you may not know how it's going to play out, but the path will get clear. Yeah. The universe wants you to know, the Llama, endurance. You have the endurance to see it through, to go the distance. So stay the course. Find the courage inside of you to stay the course, to keep showing up for yourself, to keep filling your cup, to keep doing yourself right. Don't do yourself dirty. Don't settle for less. Don't dim your life. Don't play small. Don't do yourself dirty like that. No, don't compromise and just be with someone just to be with them because you don't want to be alone. No, like, honestly, like, on the one hand, I get it. I want a life partner. Wanted one and children for as long as I can remember. But I haven't found the person that is in alignment and resonates with me that is a good fit. I'm not going to date just to date. I'm not going to be in a relationship just to be in a relationship. It feels dirty and gross to me. And, all the more power to the people who just want to date, if that's in alignment with you, by all means. But you have the endurance to see this through. It will work out for you. And I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but since my aunt lives near the train tracks, there's a train going by right now. The squirrel preparation, yeah, you are being prepared. All the things that you're letting go, all the things that are being purged from you, all the things that are being released and, weren't in alignment and they're leaving your life, or you're being ejected from relationships, jobs, whatever, it's in preparation. It's in preparation for brighter days, for your authentic. Oh my goodness, my words. Authenticity. Yes, my words. I was struggling, but it's preparing you. It wants you to be genuine. It wants you to be real. It wants you to thrive. And you can't do that by living a lie, by pretending, by making compromises and settling for less. So the universe doesn't want that for you, And yeah, it's preparing you for the butterfly evolution. You are going to soar to greater heights than you can ever imagine. You're no longer going to be the caterpillar. But you need to prepare for that metamorphosis, for that transformation. You can't keep the old ways. The butterfly can't continue to be a caterpillar and keep doing caterpillar things. It's no longer the caterpillar. So this is why the universe is asking you to release, to let go, to purge. You are becoming cocooned in the chrysalis. You're metamorphosizing. You're transforming. You're evolving. You're going to be able to soar. But you can't cling on to the old. You can't cling on to the past. It's gone. You can't go back to being the caterpillar. Once you become the butterfly, you're the butterfly now. You're meant for bigger and better things. The universe intended me to live a life of riches. And it's not just monetary wealth. It's a rich life of love, peace, joy, fulfillment, prosperity, excitement, the fullness of a life of all sorts of emotions, gratitude, adventure, curiosity, discovery, learning, growth, all of that. It meant for you to have a rich life where you could thrive. So don't settle. You're evolving into the butterfly. Embrace it. I am in alignment with the frequency of generational wealth. Like, this is setting you and your future generations, the future lines of your family tree, up for success, up to thrive. We are letting go of the old ways. Like, society, the collective, like, all of that is transforming, and we're not, making excuses and justifying and playing small and dimming our light and be like, oh, that's just the way it is, buying into limiting beliefs and the negative narratives. We're letting go of that. And it's going to be a much prosperous time for ourselves and everyone that follows us. And yeah, part of that is, monetary, but it's such a deeper wealth. And it also goes down to health, because health is wealth, your well-being. Because I'm just looking around and so many people are miserable. Like, in my family, there's so many miserable people. People that just complain and rant and are just like unhappy, and they'll stick with these jobs they can't stand because it's like, oh, I gotta pay the bills. That's just how it is. Life sucks. You gotta just deal with it. It is what it is. And like, people be driving them crazy, and they don't do anything about it. And so the universe is setting us up, helping us evolve, preparing us, getting us to let go, so we can prioritize our peace of mind and well-being, that we're not, poisoning ourselves from the inside out with these choices, what we're surrounding ourselves with. Because we have a lot more strength than we realize, and a lot of this compromise and settling for less is because we don't have faith, we don't trust, we don't believe in our capabilities. But we're so much more capable than we believe. I always receive exactly what I ask for, or better. That's the thing. The universe has your back. It wants you to thrive. It wants to bless you with magic and miracles and all these goodness, all this love, all this light. But a lot of times we're the ones that end up intentionally or unintentionally interfering and self-sabotaging. We get in our own way. And it makes me think about that dream I had with my brother, about how he was trying to get stuff to print, and he was so convinced the way to get it to print was to grab the paper, crumble it all up into this ball, and like try to shove it into the gears of the printer. And it's like, you just broke it. Like, how is it going to be able to work now? You just try to force things. What? And so the universe is saying, hey, connect with your deepest inner knowing. Be able to have clear hearing, purify your body, get prepared, lighten up, embrace change, get crystal clear, bring in the light so that you can bring in all these blessings. Let the universe work its magic and miracles so that you can have everything you want, or even better. So like, so often we can be the one getting in our own way and just mucking up the whole process. I expect amazing opportunities today. Yeah. Start expecting greatness. Start expecting joy and peace and love and well-being and just abundance. Like, all these good things. Start expecting magic and miracles. Start expecting blessings. And don't necessarily expect it to go certain ways. Be open to it, because usually our limited human ego mindset, like, it doesn't know all the components at play, all the things in motion, but the universe does, and so it can bless us. But we gotta be open to it. Expand. Growth is often uncomfortable and messy, but necessary, yeah. The letting go process, the purging process, the releasing process, it can be messy and uncomfortable, and it can have suffering and, regret and disillusionment and all of that. But just because the new hasn't come into your life yet doesn't mean it won't. Doesn't mean you won't get the blessings and the magic and the miracles. Doesn't mean that you won't have the growth and have that life where you can thrive. It can take time, but it can be a messy, uncomfortable process, but it's going to work out in your favor. You're going to become the butterfly. You really are. Yeah. Evolve. The cosmic potential flows through you. You are in the midst of evolution. So prepare for the brighter days. Trust that it'll happen. You have the endurance and the strength to see it through. You will become that butterfly. You truly will. The sun, rise to the occasion. Choose to rise. Yes, you may stumble and fall. Yes, you may make mistakes. Yes, things won't always play the way you want. Yes, you're going to have hard times. It's part of the human journey. Doesn't mean you have to be in love with that, but rise to the occasion. Don't settle for less. Don't dim your life. Don't play small. Don't sell yourself out. Don't sell yourself out. Don't betray who you truly are. Stand firm in who you are and what it is that you want. You deserve better. Light. Without the dark, we'd never see the stars. Yeah. You are the light. You are the light. Even if there's a whole bunch of darkness around you, you are the light. And you shine so brightly. And it might be part of the reason why you've had people in your life that do not resonate, because a lot of times people, like, they have this love of the light, but if they are just so caught up in dark and hurt and nastiness, it can make them very uncomfortable, so they start lashing out at you. I feel like that's happened to me quite a lot. I'm just being myself and not trying to do anything, trying to be peaceful and loving and caring and all this and respectful, and then just boom, explosions and drama and you're horrible, you're crazy, blah, 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 blah. Right. Flag. Do not be tempted to lower your standards. Don't compromise and betray yourself. Don't do it. It can be tempting because for a lot of us, we don't want to be alone and we want those genuine connections. We want love and all that. We want to be, having like experiences and sharing them with other people, but don't lower your standards. Honestly, based on my family, it feels like they lowered their standards a lot. And I feel like that happened with my aunt, who I'm currently pet sitting for. She and her husband got divorced and they had a teen marriage, and they got married because he got in a bike accident and she thought he was going to die, and so they rushed into things, and yeah, there wasn't very much clarity and there was lowering of standards, and it turned into a whole big thing later. I don't know all the details. Not really my business, but yeah, don't lower your standards. You don't want to go down that road. Or even what happened with my best friend. She lowered her standards. She didn't even see her ex, who turned into her husband. She wouldn't even see him sometimes once a week, even though they have a child. And he never got a house for them and all these things. It just leads to so much more suffering and chaos and drama and conflict. So don't lower your standards. Yes, it can be hard, but know what it is you want. Know who it is you are. Yeah, Quill, get back to basics. Get back to your core values. Get back to what it is you really want. Don't overcomplicate things and have all these excessive rules and things you got to jump through all these hoops. No, what is it that you truly want? Pure and simple. Building blocks of basic necessities, basic boundaries, basic non-negotiables. What is it? What is it? Yeah, scales. Keep your life in balance. That's part of the reason why the universe wants us to purify, wants us to listen, wants us to prepare. Because things are shifting, things are happening, they're gaining momentum, we are evolving into the butterfly. But we got to keep our life in balance, otherwise it's not going to work out well for us. Yeah, wind chimes, peace and harmony. We have to make peace, harmony, well-being, joy, that kind of stuff a priority. Not that we have to always be that way, because that's an unrealistic expectation. We can't be perfect. We're human. We're going to have good days and bad days. We're going to have negative emotions and positive emotions. But make peace and harmony and well-being and joy your priority, something that you strive for. Don't associate with all these things that are draining you and like destroying your peace, your harmony, your well-being. And also keep in mind that happiness, peace of mind, that kind of thing, they're inside jobs. You have the free will to choose what you associate with, where you go, where your time, energy, and attention go. So choose to invest into peace, harmony, well-being, joy, love, lightheartedness, laughter, you know? The universe wants you to lighten up. Yeah. Jug, lighthearted, carefree time. And it's because of the choices you're making. It's because of what you're releasing, what you're letting go, what you're purging from your life, what you're preparing for. You're choosing it. You're embracing the change. You're getting crystal clear on what it is you want. Yeah, candle. You will be shown the way. The path forward will be illuminated for you. You will connect with the right people, places, and things. The universe will send you messages and signs. You don't need to worry. It's going to work out for you. The universe has this master plan and divine timing. It is working behind the scenes to work magic and miracles for you. You are becoming the butterfly. You don't need to worry. It's already in motion. It's going to happen. So embrace the change. Embrace the evolution. Yeah, the universe is going to rain blessings upon you. Magic and miracles is all going to be rained down on you. Coins, money will be coming to you. Well-being will be coming to you. Prosperity will be coming to you. Wealth and joy and love and support and all of that will be coming to you. So don't worry. Bring in the light and watch the magic happen. Connect with yourself and the universe and watch the magic happen. It's all going to come together, I promise. It may take some time. You may need some patience, but trust, have faith, and stay the course. It's all working out for you. I am sending you so much love. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye.